This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis, in for Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Tuesday, January 30th. First up from Westwood One, Apple's new iOS 17 software is a step forward for podcast advertisers and content creators alike. The article breaks down the changes to auto-download behavior for Apple Podcasts introduced by iOS 17 late last year. This includes the collaborative industry effort by a coalition of industry partners to recommend those necessary changes. Now, Apple downloads are closer to listener behavior, more in line with brand marketers' desire for quality audience metrics. Suggestions for creators looking to capitalize on this shift in Apple metrics include urging listeners to actively listen on release days, build a following on Apple Podcasts to offset download erosion, and diversify to platforms like Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Strategies that will also help subsidize any lost numbers from the retirement of Google Podcasts later this year. Next, the Triton Digital US Podcast Report for 2023. The second annual Triton Digital US Podcast Report has arrived. Key findings include a 12% growth in the number of podcast listeners since 2021, according to Podcast Metrics Demos Plus data from Triton. Podcasting is chipping away at the listener age gap, as the overall population of audiences aged 55 and up is up 22% over 2 years. News was the most downloaded genre of podcasts last year, followed by true crime and comedy. Next, from the New York Times, audiobooks are booming. Spotify wants in on the action. Early signs are coming in that Spotify, adding 15 hours of audiobook listening credit to every Spotify premium account, is moving the needle for audiobooks as an industry. Without Spotify's influence, the audiobook market grew in the US 14% over Q4 of last year, according to BookStats estimations of retailers like Apple and Audible. When you factor in BookStats estimates for figures provided by Spotify, the company reached a market share of 11%. Those interviewed on both the research and publishing side believe Spotify's audiobook sales have brought a noticeable amount of new readers into audiobooks, accelerating the already healthy sector's growth. Next up, again from the New York Times, the results are in. Here's what Americans streamed in 2023. Streaming stats from 2023 show an unquestionable dark horse contestant ran away with the year. According to Nielsen data, Suits, the legal drama that ran from 2011 to 2019 on USA, got 57.7 billion minutes of watch time last year. That's more than The Office and Stranger Things got during their most streamed moments, which were in 2020 and 2022 respectively. A large part of Suits' success is attributed to a new generation of audiences who have not watched networks like USA, meaning Suits coming to Netflix was effectively the same as a new Netflix original with 9 seasons suddenly dropping overnight. Meanwhile, Friends continues to gain momentum, nearly doubling its watch time on Max from 2022 to 2023. If there's one thing podcasting can take away from the perennial story about old TV finding new life on streaming, it's that long-tail content is powerful when advertised and positioned correctly. So powerful that one can deck out their brand new Build-A-Bear in 2024 with a turkey hat referencing an episode of Friends from 1998. Finally, from Marketing Brew, Amazon rolls out ads on Prime Video. Starting yesterday, Amazon has begun running ads on Prime Video in the US, becoming the latest streamer to roll out an ad-supported tier on their streaming platform. Amazon's press release stresses they're taking a Max-styled approach of focusing on fewer, higher-quality ads. Users who want ad-free viewing can upgrade out of the ad-supported tier for an additional $2.99 a month. Adweek detailed 3 buying options from advertisers. Preferred deals starting at $26 base CPM, that's cost per mil or cost per 1,000 impressions, guaranteed buys at $34 CPM, and premium sponsorship commitments that range from $600,000 to $8 million that allow advertisers to wholly sponsor a chosen program. CPMs that come close to the podcast industry average rate of $25 for a 60-second ad. Something to keep in mind when considering a medium one would add into a media mix with their video ad purchase. Hint, hint. As for the rest of the news, Ari Papero interviews Spotify's Per Sandell to discuss the company's targeting and ad tech. Linkfire announces engaged listeners metric for Apple Podcasts. Branded podcast production Pop by Pacific Content launches. And MediaPost interviews Ad Results Media's Gretchen Smith about podcast advertising. Be sure to check out all the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, myself, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us tomorrow.